Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to play Storm in this ultimate guide for Marvel Rivals. Now Storm is a complex character. She's a flyer, but she doesn't have the mobility that Iron Man or Star-Lord have, and she does buff up the team. Now her main attack here doesn't do a whole lot of damage. You can shoot 2 rounds per second and they deal 55 damage each. The wind will pierce through targets, and the lightning will create a spell field that can deal damage over time to targets. So there's benefits to using both of these. Now, she has the ability to both buff her damage and buff her movement speed. And you can see this ring here. Any teammates that are in that ring will also get buffed. As you go lower to the ground, that widens, and as you go up, it decreases, as you can see there. So there is some level of positioning that you have to pay attention to with Storm. And I personally recommend that when you're playing, that if you're getting attacked while you're up in the sky, actually bringing yourself down to your teammates can work. And then if you find that you're not getting attacked as much, you can start to raise yourself up a little bit higher, because sometimes you'll be playing and people just won't look up. That's a reality of this game. So sometimes you can literally get right up above enemies and they won't even know what's happening because they're just so focused on your tanks. So there's a few different ways you can go about playing her. So with Storm, currently she buffs her damage and movement speed by 16%. This is going to be changing with the next patch to 12%, and she'll be boosting up her teammates' damage and movement speed by 10%. So they're getting a bit of a buff there. Now with Storm, she also has the Goddess boost. So whenever you use this, it'll allow you to buff up your damage even further. Right now it's 30% extra damage. It's changing to 25% extra damage or 40% movement speed. So whenever you use that with the lightning up, you will actually do these lightning attacks here. They do 35 damage each. It's not a lot, but anyone that's in this area will get struck by the lightning. And that could just mean chipping away enemies that are low on health and taking them out that way. So it's actually very effective. And the damage buff that you get is nice as well, because that takes that 55 damage up a little bit more and makes it a bit more effective for reducing enemies down to no health. And if you use the wind version of that, it's going to increase your movement speed by 40% and your teammates' movement speed by 20%. And it'll slow down any enemies. You'll see this with a little bit of a gray circle around the character. It'll slow down movement speeds for those targets by 15%. So it's not a huge debuff to the enemies. Most times you're going to be focused on having the lightning ability. If you want to buff your team and get them there really quickly, you can go into your wind form and then Goddess boost to make sure that your team runs. If you're, let's say, on defense, that can be nice because you can allow your teams to set up ahead of time. People like Penny typically will have the mobility to set up beforehand, but for anyone else that wants to get movement speed, like Groot, for example, that can work very well there. So she also has this offhand attack that does 80 damage, and it has an 8-second cooldown. So you want to be weaving that in whenever you possibly can and ensuring that you can get that strike off. Now you can see with my crosshair, she's got really good range, and you got to be pinpoint precise with using her. So that's why it's nice to have a crosshair like this that's a little bit easier for sniping people with, because she kind of is a healer sniper, or she's like a buffer sniper type character. She can also get in and buff herself up and deal damage. We can see here this offhand attack does quite a bit of damage. She also has a team up with Thor. So Thor will buff Captain America, but also buff up Storm. And what this does, you press your C ability here, and it's going to chain from target to target. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but if you have like multiple enemies grouped together, that can just be a really easy way to take out some enemies. So going back into our lightning form here. So the normal combo with Storm, if you want to take someone out quickly, is go into your lightning form, make sure that you have them set up inside your ring. You're going to pop up your Goddess boost. You're going to use your attack from Thor there, and then you can see there you can blast people down in no time at all. So I'll show you that here again, letting the cooldowns expire. Again, the combo that we want to be doing is we go with our Goddess boost here. This will strike the lightning on them, and then you can go ahead there with your left click into right click. It's going to take out most squishies very quickly. The extra damage from the Goddess boost is only 35 every 2 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to be hitting everyone in this large radius. So if you set up in a good position, like up high, where they just don't pay attention to you, you're going to be feasting. So that can be extremely effective for taking enemies out. But as you can see there, our main attack will pierce through and deal extra damage to targets. So one last time, I'll show off this combination. So I did that a little bit wrong, but yeah, you can just burst them down with any combination of that. Now, another thing is her ultimate. It's really strong. So it also is going to have a team up with the Human Torch. But with her ultimate, what you're going to do is you can disappear. You got 5 seconds to set up where you want to attack from. And then once you do this, you can actually zoom out as well, but we're just gonna go in. It sucks people in. You can move with it. It'll also give you temporary health to take your health up to 700 there, which will start to disintegrate afterwards. So you get in, get back out. From my experience, people typically don't try to take you out in your ultimate for whatever reason. I'm usually trying to do that, but it's not like Wanda's ult where your team's gonna die right away. If you don't get away, you can actually just make sure you heal through it. So that is an option, but for the most part, you want to get this at the healer. So that's a nice thing about Storm is you got 5 seconds to set it up. Whenever people hear "Fear the wrath of the goddess," they usually will run away real quick. But yeah, this ultimate is extremely strong. It got a nice buff. She actually got many buffs with this the last patch. She is getting nerfed, but I think it's fair, and it's going to make her a better teammate as she'll be able to deal a little bit extra damage, or she'll make her teammates deal a little bit extra damage. 10% is pretty nice. So I'll show off what to do with Storm in actual gameplay here. Storm is all about positioning like some other heroes, but as I mentioned, you kind of want to bob and weave up and down. Sometimes, again, people just won't look upwards, and you want to take advantage of that. But there's also flyers like Iron Man, which we actually counter pretty well since our attacks are a little bit faster than theirs. Now, the ultimate is extremely effective because whenever people are all grouped up together, you can deal a ton of damage to them. Priority always will be for healers, so you definitely want to go for them. But yeah, we can actually take out Iron Man pretty quickly. Unfortunately, he got away there. But using our Goddess boost, you can see the extra damage that we get is actually quite crazy. And the lightning that strikes will actually show you where you should go for your next target if you're able to take one out that way. Jeff ultimate is easily countered by Storm because she can just fly up, as is Squirrel Girl's ultimate because the squirrels will only be on the ground. So Storm is a great counter to a lot of different heroes, which is really nice. But again, you always want to go after healers. For some reason, that Jeff started attacking me, which slowed them down, and then they were taken out by my ultimate there. But we're always on the hunt for anyone that's got low health. Here was a nice way to be able to just take someone out because we can fly around any corner. So anytime that someone's trying to use cover like that, we can take them out pretty easily. Now, for the best thing about Storm is actually she has a huge area of effect. So whenever there's a position like this or in domination, she's actually able to cover most of that area with her Goddess boost, so you can get lightning attacks in or boost your teammates' movement speed. So actually really effective for just overall in either game mode, Convoy, or in the domination mode, where some are a little bit better at some of the other game modes. But Storm really does benefit from having good aim. You can play her at a very long range too, because her attacks will go on for pretty much ever. So you can kind of play this to your advantage if your aim is good. But going in is obviously going to make things a little bit easier to aim because the targets will be larger when you're at a close range. But again, you saw there, that is how you can easily take down Iron Man and get yourself a really nice MVP here. So this game here, I had 34, 2, and 13. That's a pretty good game. So yeah, a lot of damage done with Storm. And she's got, again, one of the best ultimates in the game. So you can see here an easy triple with her ultimate. It's crazy, especially if you have the enemies grouped up together. For some reason here, there was a Luna that's not my teammates, and they were ulting there, and I was able to survive that. So Storm is good because she can bob weave up and down too and move in kind of complex directions. That makes it hard for her to get hit. So yeah, I always want to go after a healer if you can with her ultimate. Even just getting one healer is going to be a nice momentum shift for your team, but obviously if you can take out both of them with her ultimate, that is preferred. But that's how to play Storm in this Ultimate Guide from Marvel Rivals. Subscribe if you enjoyed.